Всем привет, меня зовут Родин.
Hi everyone, my name is Rodin, and this project is Paleosurface, light version I think. Right now it may be hard to tell by the surroundings, but I am practically in the center. I mean in the very center of Yerevan. Well, as my fate has brought me to Armenia, I need to tell you a thing about this country. Maybe everyone knows the saying that Armenia is an open-air archaeological museum. Indeed, as soon as you enter the Republic Square, which is quite close, you immediately get offers for tours to places like Garni and Gerard. Those are really fantastic places which I strongly recommend you to visit if you get the occasion. But we're not like this. We don't work that simple. So today I'm gonna show you a place which no guide would ever show you. Let's go. Golden rule: if you want to see places really unique, you should communicate with local archaeologists. And I've got a lucky chance to get acquainted with Irena Kalantaryan in Armenia. Good morning. Okay, so you found me?
Yeah.
Irena Kalantaryan researches one of the sites that are not really intelligible for tourists, but are still very interesting for archaeologists. For they reveal to us millennia of history which had never been recorded in any written source and seemed to be forever lost for posterity. Getahovit Cave is situated in the northeast of Armenia near the city of Getahovin, 2 hours drive from Yerevan. It's hidden on the slope above a mountain stream, and it reveals some details of life of Eneolithic shepherds who had been roaming these river valleys with their herds. We have arrived at the expedition base. Now, we'll drink some coffee and climb into the cave. Your coffee's getting cold. Put off the filming. Coffee first or filming? Coffee first? Yeah, okay, coming. The expedition has been working in Getahovit since 2011. Sitting on this veranda, I can very well understand why all the times people gravitated towards this place. The most massive and interesting archaeological layer of the cave dates back to the edge of the 6th and 5th millennium BC. This is 4,000 years before the origin of Urartu and 1,500 years before the formation of the first states in Egypt. Beautiful pastures, abundant nature, and that's what earthly paradise is supposed to look like. But this is not all that easy, and after 20 minutes bumping up and down the road, the daily routine of the expedition members, I begin to realize why they joke about the Getahovit excavations. It's worse than the Vietnam War. Please forgive my Armenian, but the river seems to be called Kachapyush. And now we have to wade across it because the cave is on the other side of the stream, in the mountains.
Ой-ой-ой.
Are you sure it's safe? Now, Irena has almost crossed over, and me, honestly, I'm chickening. Hope, with all my equipment, I will get across safely. The water! It's so cold! What a pity I could not film the side view of myself. A camera and a monopod in one hand, sneakers under my arm, and the other hand holding a stick to rest against the bottom. At that moment, the stream was rather calm, but even so, it was knocking me down quite a bit. My feet are frozen. Where to now? Somewhere over here. Give me your shoes. Yes, please, or else they will flow away, one by one. So, what do you think? What an adventure. The way back is the same, I guess. And imagine this every day? Yeah, getting to the side like this every day, of course. Yes, so nobody endures more than 15 days. A 20-minute drive on a mountain road, then wading across the stream, and finally a march uphill with equipment and personal belongings on their backs. That's the beginning of every archaeologist's day at this site. The ending is the same. To endure it, you have to really love your site. The head of the expedition, Irena Kalantaryan, clearly loves it. Hello, my beauty. Just look at her. What a beauty I have. Oh, what's going on there? So many leaves in there. But it's okay. Nobody came, nothing is damaged here. Thank God. Like any other site, Getahovit obviously has been dug up top to bottom, so the first to be explored were the later layers, not devoid of their own mysteries. We dealt with medieval layers that dated back to approximately the 13th, 14th centuries, or maybe a bit earlier. And here we discovered burials, which is certainly not typical of the Armenian Middle Ages. Burials beyond the cemetery were something incomprehensible. Even more interestingly, one grave initially appeared here, and then another corpse was settled in. The first one was folded in half, its section was separated with a stone barrier, and the second one was buried in the other half. But most of the cultural layer in the cave accumulated during the Eneolithic period, Copper and Stone Age. Here you can see a household pit of the Chalcolithic period, where interesting vessels have been found. The point is that in the Chalcolithic period, the cave was a dwelling, a shelter for shepherds and hunters, and they temporarily stayed here with their herds. In these sections, western and southern, you can see the layers that had been deposited with coprolites. So those shepherds and hunters were here together with their herds. Probably in certain seasons, goats and sheep were driven here for pasturing. The cave served as a shelter for shepherds and as a corral for animals in the nighttime. Consequently, each year accumulated a layer of animal feces and rubbish left by people. Broken pottery, shards of tools, of obsidian and bone. But what's interesting, upon coming here again, shepherds carried out a kind of disinfection in the cave. And further, there are these black ones. To my mind, these are the traces of sanitary cleansing, when these layers were burned, as people supposedly cleaned it before temporarily settling here. So it turns out they purposely burned it all when they were coming back. Yes, they used to burn it all on purpose so that everything would be clean and they could live here again. Or they burned it all and left, and then came back again and settled here for a month or two maybe. Apparently, the cave still holds many more surprises. The living areas capable of telling us more about the culture of the pastoralists who lived here were most likely in the further hall, which has been opened just recently.
В течение первых лет нам не видно было, что у пещеры
For the first few years, we could not see that the cave had a second hall.
она стала видна в 2000
It became visible in 2016 when all the medieval layers had been almost fully excavated at our site.
у нас на территории раскопа. А сейчас мы когда там
And now, as we're clearing it, it is gradually revealing to us that this hall is likely bigger than we expected it to be.
мы ожидали ее увидеть. Ну, видимо, там будут
But apparently, there will be earlier layers, and this is very important for us.
и что это очень важно для нас.
It is possible that the Getahovit cave contains the oldest evidence of Armenian viticulture.
В 2016
In 2016, a grape seed was found in an Eneolithic fire pit.
была найдена косточка винограда. Получается, что вот эти
It turns out these Eneolithic shepherds, people who had been here, visited this cave. They were well acquainted with grapes.
пещеру, они очень хорошо были знакомы с виноградом. И даже, может быть, они
Maybe they were even acquainted with the basics of winemaking.
Вот что интересно, что эта косточка представляет
It is interesting that this seed represents a species that is the progenitor of our currently cultivated grapes.
культурного винограда.
Recently, geneticists have discovered that present-day domesticated horses descended from ancestors from the Volga and Don interfluve. However, it is known that people had interacted with horses in different regions. Perhaps Getahovit would join that range. Well, at least horses had been hunted here.
Лошадь, которая известна на этот момент в нашем регионе, она примерно датируется третьим тысячелетием до нашей
The earliest horse that is known in our region at this point dates back roughly to the 3rd millennium BC. Our horse, well, now its bones are in France, where genetic tests are being carried out to see if it was domesticated, because our specialists suspect these are the bones of a domesticated horse. But now genetic tests are being conducted. We're in the process. At least it's a horse, that's for sure.
процессе. Но что это лошадь, это уже точно.
It is possible that we will know the results of the genetic research in September, when we'll come to the cave on a fully fledged expedition. I'd like to make a big paleosurface film about Getahovit, showing excavations, working methods, and the camp life. But that's gonna happen in the fall, and now I'm horrified getting back into the stream. They say that sooner or later the stream will knock you down, and with each crossing the chances of bathing increase. I wonder if I'll manage to make a film without drowning my equipment.